Let's just do a little digging. Hi there, everyone. I'm with Tiah Goldstein. Goldstein. I always say, okay, I have to say, like, I notice a pattern within the Israeli culture that everyone has Goldberg, Goldstein, Gold something. I want a gold name.
You do?
Yeah.
Well,
can you introduce yourself, please?
Oh, hi. My name is Tiah Goldstein, and I am from the Gold Coast. I do early startup education, venture education, and I also work really hard on bridging between the Israeli ecosystem and the Australia ecosystem because I am Canadian-Israeli Australian.
What? So you're like this, like a triad.
My mom calls me the CIA.
Wow. More like the UN.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like CIA don't really do anything.
No, well, I don't know. Well, do they?
Really, like, what is your role? You call yourself an instigator. What does that mean?
So I do. I'm really passionate about helping people who have an idea and helping them bring it to life. So if you have an idea, then I basically help you figure out the different steps that you need to do in order to make it to get traction. So I focus on early stage venture development. So I do that through the courses that I run.
So how do you do that? Like, everyone has an idea, right?
Yeah.
Like, everyone has an idea, but a lot of people don't know where to start.
That's true.
Is that what you do? Like, you just help them clarify and execute and just like get shit done?
So I do. I'm very good at getting people to get shit done, but I also do ideation to MVP. So I run courses for adults. I call them level up courses that are ideation to MVP that kind of helps you work through the idea of this is my business idea. I'm not really sure whether this is something that I want to do or not. And do I do it? And how do I do customer validation? How do I do customer discovery? And then when you start doing traction, it's almost like a preparation for either an incubator or an accelerator.
Right.
So I do that one-on-one. I do that through the courses that I run. And I also work with an amazing organization called Startup Apprentice that runs entrepreneurship programs in schools.
Why is it, like comparing to Israeli, what can Australian startup ecosystem learn from Israeli and Canadian ecosystems? And, what's lacking here that we need to know?
Yeah. So I just spent 2.5 months in Israel with the Israeli ecosystem, the startup ecosystem, which was fantastic. It was amazing. I learned so much. And being Israeli, Canadian, and Australian, there's a lot of voices in my head. So Israel, one of the things about the Israeli ecosystem is that as a culture, we are extremely direct. We are very direct and we get stuff done. And Israelis are really able to make the leap between someone who will come up with an idea and say, so I want to create this thing. And Israelis are like, okay, cool. And 3 weeks later, you will have an MVP and you'll have a prototype. It'll be working or not working. Yeah. There is much more of
proactive attitude.
A proactive attitude towards just giving it a go. And even though Australia is definitely all about giving it a go, there is a lot more of that in Israel.
There's a lot more talkers. I had to say it. I've seen a lot of talkers, yeah. I just want to think, like, the thing is, like, look, one thing I learned from startups, you get startups, it's like they put their head down and get shit done.
Yeah, but there's, I think, another thing within Israeli culture, because part of what we do is we have to go to the army, and that also provides a massive sense of confidence, of self-confidence, and with a clear understanding of who you are and what your role in society is. This is my own personal views. So when it comes to that, and when it comes to I have the confidence to be able to do stuff, I think that is a lot more clear within Israeli society of like, well, I'm going to do this, so therefore I'm just going to do it, and I don't need any, and there's less of a shaky confidence within the ability to do that. Not that there isn't the imposter syndrome that everybody feels, and I
have to say, like, everyone that I know has that little moments
definitely.
of, like, little moments, but dealing with it is something a lot of people don't know how to handle.
Yes. I mean, it's funny because
you do fuck up nights.
I do fuck up nights.
It's a thing. I like it to swear, but it's a thing.
So I think, and this is actually one of the things that I think is that I'm really excited to bring from the Israeli startups ecosystem. It's actually not from Israel; it's a global movement. But I found out about it in Israel. It's an evening where a whole bunch of different people who are at different stages of their startup have either exited or are still involved in their startup. They share their stories of failure and their fuck ups. And the reason they do that is because failure may suck, but it instructs. And being able to go to a place where you are able to share what you learned and what you are going to do different, but also to stand up on stage and say, hey, this is how I fucked up, but this is what I learned from it, and this is how I'm moving forward, is something that is super important. And I think that Australian culture, that is not something that is so acceptable, and I think that it's super important to be able to nurture that that side of the ability to try things out. That is one thing that in Israel, it's like, I don't know, I'm just going to see what happens. I'm going to improvise.
You do, and you learn from like a lot of failures and testing it out. So you have an idea. The fastest way to know how to validate it is to test it and make it.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of people that I work with, a lot of the startups that I work with here, they spend their time behind the computer and they don't
even test it.
No,
they don't even validate it.
They don't validate.
It's almost like they feel like, oh, it's a great idea, but only I would use it.
Yes.
Only my mum would use it.
Yes. And I was watching the interview that you did with Erez, who's here, who's amazing, by the way. Crisco, amazing organization, and Erez is incredible. And when he said, you have to validate, I was like, yes, thank you, because you have to go out and you have to talk to people. And I think that's also just in Israel, one of the things about the culture is like, I'm just going to get stuff done. I don't have a lot of time for anything else. There's a much higher level of urgency within the Israeli society of like, let's just get it done. Okay, get it done.
Okay, one final question.
Yeah.
What's your favorite beach city in the world?
Oh, Burleigh.
But where's that?
Burleigh Heads on the Gold Coast?
I don't know. I'm not from Gold Coast.
I am.
Cheers. All right, everyone. Thank you again. Let's wrap it up. And if you're interested in more interviews, I will drop her LinkedIn there so you can connect with Tiah. But also, I want you to share this video out.
Yes, share it.
Share it and like us as well to follow more interviews.
And come to the Fuck Up Nights.
Fuck Up Nights.
April 6th. On the Gold Coast.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Woohoo!